What's up, YouTube family? Sam here with Vertical Expressions, and today I want to welcome you to a new series that we're starting. A series called Truth Be Told. And this series is all about keeping it real. This series is all about uncut, no process, nothing like organic thoughts, like no Bible studies, no reading the scripture, none of that. This is just like one-on-one. And I want to give you guys a little bit of backstory. Since this is the first video of this, I want to let you know this video is not going to be edited. It is what it is. You're not going to see no cutscenes. You guys are going to see all the mistakes, all the stumbling, all the mumbling, all that stuff. But I wanted to make this series because somebody reached out and they were like, you know what, bro? Can you talk on this? Can you talk on this? Because I just really want to hear you. I want to hear what you have to say. Like, I want to hear your thoughts. And I realized, like, man, how nice it would have been for me to be able to call somebody up whenever I needed them, or go watch a video and just hear somebody speak on the stuff that I'm going through, the stuff that I'm wondering about. So this series, Truth Be Told, is just me trying to keep it real. It's not me hitting you with Bible verses. It's not me hitting you with no teachings. It's just me talking on my experience and keeping it one-on-one with you. So, truth be told, today we're gonna be talking about being a Christian. Just being a Christian. Because being a Christian can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I'm gonna start from the top. For me, being a Christian, like for me, I've been in the gospel now. I've been saved, walking saved for 8 years. I was baptized 2012. Just turned 21. And you know, when I first went to church, the first time I went to church, man, I went to this worship service. This is like this worship event, and I remember they were singing Christine Knuckles, something like that. You revive me, Lord. And those are the lyrics of the song. And I remember just singing those lyrics out and feeling the Holy Spirit for the first time in my life, man. Feeling a certain freedom for the first time in my life. Now at that time I was going through a lot. Started going to college. I was getting out of a toxic relationship. You know, I was like just letting go a lot of the stuff that I felt like these things identified me. Like they gave me identity. They made me feel like me, you know. And after that moment, like I remember accepting Christ, and I remember going back to all my old ways. But in my heart, I felt like a Christian. You know what I mean? I was still doing my own thing in the world and all that. Still calling myself a Christian. Like I was a Christian. Can't nobody tell me that I wasn't a Christian. And some months went by, and I started like feeling the burden of like living that life and then trying to come to Christianity. And just what I'm trying to say is that I was a Christian. I believed I was a Christian. I was a Christian while I was walking that way. And I'm the same Christian I am today when I'm living better now, doing better now. You feel me? And with that, I'm trying to say is like nobody's in the position to say you're a Christian. Like I could give you my opinion on what being a Christian is, but by no means do I have the authority to tell you you're not a Christian. You know, it's not for me to decide. Like I could tell you when you're wrong. But I can't tell you when you can't identify yourself as a Christian. You know, but with that being said, I want to get into what being a Christian to me, my personal opinion, what it is and what it isn't. Like to me, being a Christian is not playing the part or seeming like a Christian. And I didn't always know that. You know, to me, being a Christian is having a relationship with God. Now, real quick, I want to talk about my humble beginnings. Because you see, after I started going to church and committing, I realized that church became a social event for me. I wasn't really going to church for God or to find God, although I was, but I was really enjoying the friends that I was making, the time that I was spending, all the distractions. And I went and God took the time to take me through a season of isolation. And I tried to hang out with people. I tried to connect with people. I tried to get things going, but it was just dry. Like that summer was just dry. And this was after I got baptized. It was just dry. And for the first time in a long time, I had been alone with myself and no distractions. And what happened was that all the pain that I was feeling, all the ugly, all that stuff that I was carrying, like it just came out in front of God. And me and God started to build a relationship where I started talking to God, just telling him how hurt I was and the pain that I was feeling. And I got to know a little bit of God's heart, and a relationship started. At that same time, I started reading the book Soul Detox. Check it out. It's a really good book. I recommend it, especially if you're beginning in the faith. And to be honest with you, sometimes I still read it because I be forgetting. It's like you never beat this walk. It don't matter if you've been here for 1 year or 10 years. You never beat this walk. Like, it's a relationship. You continue to move forward and forward and forward. And I was so blessed to have that season of isolation. And I want to tell you that if you're going through a season where you feel like life is slowing down, like you trying to keep up the distractions and making all these moves and doing you, and you feel like God may just want some time alone with you, man, take it. Because it's worth it. It's worth it. Like, that time alone is worth it. If you really like someone and you trying to connect, what do? You go out on a date. Like, you try to find that one-on-one time to really connect. The same thing goes with God. Like, there are moments where God just wants to connect with you. And that's what I mean. Like, to me, being a Christian is not like playing the part. When I started going to church, I started dressing different. I had a different haircut, different hairstyle. I started speaking different. I was real proper with my words. And I could sound real proper. Like, I'm an Oreo, y'all. Like, I'm black on the outside, white on the inside. But don't nobody know that. You know what I mean? And I started just portraying myself different. And that wasn't it. I thought that was it, but that wasn't it. Like, that was so not it. And I came to a place where I just started realizing, man, this whole thing is only worth it when you having a real relationship with God. Like, that's what it is to me. It's just that real relationship with God. It's not playing church. It's not doing what you're supposed to do. It's not praying. It's not fasting. Not reading the Bible. It's not doing small groups. It's not watching Christian edifying vertical expressions Bible studies on YouTube, although you know you love it. It's not that. Like, it's this honest relationship with God. Now, what's gonna happen? You see, when you trying to holler at shorty, or when homegirl's trying to get at homeboy, what do you guys do, right? You send them a text. You do this little thing. Valentine's Day, you send a rose, you send a flower. Like, you make an attempt to show that you care. And when you have a relationship with God and you care, you begin to try showing that you care. So what do? You take time to pray, because you want God to know. You want to talk to God. You want to communicate. You don't want to continue to mess up. You want to grow, so you spend time in the Word to learn and get better. You want to get closer to God, so what do? You fast. You want to be obedient, so what do? You fellowship. You go to church. You listen, like, you start edifying yourself. But that's it's not because you're a Christian. It's because you have a relationship. And I think that's a distinction right there. To me, being a Christian is not about the title. To me, being a Christian is about the relationship. We just use this word as a placeholder to refer to people who, to me, they should just call us individual. Like, yo, you a Christian? Instead of saying that, be like, yo, are you an individual who has an honest relationship with God? Like, that's more legit for me. That speaks more to the point to me. And I'm sorry, I gotta read y'all. I don't want to forget, because I went off on a tangent though. Like, oh, it's pretty much what I said. Like, with any relationship, you're gonna get out of it what you're putting into it. I don't think for a second that you barely talking to God, like conversation is dry, and then you just gonna be spiritually right. It's not gonna happen. You know, it's not gonna happen. And the truth is, it's different for everybody. I wasn't born in church. I started going to church at a different age in my life, so Christianity to me, or being a Christian to me, came a little different. But if you grew up in church, and maybe you were forced to go to church through a season of your life, you're dealing with certain resentments, or you're dealing with certain frustrations. You're dealing with a whole different lifestyle that I can't relate to personally. But the one thing that I found to be true is that at the end of the day, like, the people who are persevering in the gospel, the people who are persevering in church and are doing it happily and are like moving forward honestly before God, are the people who have an honest relationship with God. Now I'm gonna show you guys the moment where I realized I had a relationship with God. You see, this was like maybe 2 or 3 years into playing church, because I still was playing church. I was still dressing some type of way, you know, for the sake of playing church. as it is what it is. I was still talking in some type of way. I was still doing everything I thought I had to do to be a good Christian. I felt real bad. Like I felt real bad. Sinned and all that stuff. And I remember driving the car and pulling over. And I was crying. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was crying. And I was telling God, like, my prayer was, God, forgive me. But don't forgive me because I don't want to go to hell. I told him straight up, I die and I go to hell, that's on me. That is on me. I understand. Stupid of me because it's never been by our works that we receive salvation, but whatever. This is the young me, baby me. I told him, like, I don't care if I go to hell. Just please don't take your presence away from me now, because there's no way I'm going to make it through this life without you. And that's when I realized, like, after falling so hard and going through maybe 12, 14 hours where the absence was in my life without God, everything that I encounter on a daily basis, all the emotions, all the pressures of life, everything that we go through, like, you guys know what we go through, the doubt, the insecurity, the pain, the hurt, the frustrations, all that stuff that I'm trying to cope with or survive as a human being in this world. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without God. Like, there was no hope for me. Like, the world got so dark. You feel me? If I didn't have the hope to say, God, you're in control of this, if I couldn't make that prayer, there was no way I was gonna survive, because I had no hope. God had literally become the hope for my life. That, to me, spending eternity in hell, as horrible as it sounds, like, that was so much worse than spending this real life without God, because I just felt completely empty. And that's when I knew, like, forget playing church, forget doing things because they look good and all that. God, I just need you. Like, I need you. I need relationship with you. And that's what it is for me. If you're wondering what's it being a Christian, like, being a Christian is not easy. Truth be told, being a Christian is not easy. Truth be told, being a Christian takes work. Truth be told, playing the role or doing the right things is not gonna get you anywhere. Truth be told, it's gonna take an honest effort for an honest relationship, for you to build something beautiful with God, and this whole thing be worth it. Because if you're doing it just for, like, the meal ticket, if you're doing it just to play along, like, have a role in the play, like, truth be told, man, it's not gonna be worth it. It's not gonna be worth it. Like, forget about everything else for right now. Everything else is gonna come. Forget about prayer, forget about the Bible, forget about fasting, forget about fellowship, forget about all of that. Truth be told, forget about all of that. I know maybe some people will not, they don't agree with what I'm saying, but forget about all of that. Focus on you just having an honest relationship with God, and I guarantee you that the minute you start talking to God like you would a friend, the minute you start being honest to God about the things that are hurting you, about the things that you're struggling with, about the things that you want to do, your ambitions, your life, the positives and the negatives, and you start to build that relationship, I guarantee you that you're going to want to pray. I guarantee you that you're going to want to be in His Word. I guarantee you that you're going to want to fellowship. I guarantee you that you're going to want to be in church, because your heart is going to want it. You're not going to be faking the front anymore. It's going to be real. So with that, I think the video already got a little bit too long. I'm sorry for that. Guys, do what you can. Be honest with God. Whatever you do, be honest. Don't wear a mask. Don't pretend. Don't fake it. Be honest. Be clear. I'm not saying you could do whatever you want and be good with God. No. If you can't do that in a relationship if you can't do that with a friendship, if you can't do that with a coworker, if you can't do that to a teacher, if you can't do that to a significant other, you shouldn't do it to God. You can't go around hurting people. God has feelings too. You feel me? He's patient. He's gonna forgive you, but, like, be mindful. If you care, you would be mindful. So, I'm gonna stop talking now. Guys, truth be told, I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button one time for the homie. And then tell your friend. Send him this video because he needs to hear it too. She needs to hear this too. Like, she's just sis and all that. But you not showing that love. Like, you keeping this video to yourself. And that ain't God-like. I'm just joking. Don't take that seriously. I would have edited that out, but I just realized I can't edit that out. Yo, let's get to 100. Bless that like button. Let's get this going. Let's continue to move forward. Can't wait to see you guys again. Peace out.